Happy Saturday morning, everybody. NASCAR, they made big news on Friday, yesterday. Breaking news in the garage area. All types of new rules and situations in NASCAR for the 2025 race season. The one that got everybody's attention is what we're going to talk about today. The other ones are merely just follow-ups here and there. You won't even notice them, so I'm not going to really talk about them. It's hard. It's very hard to know all the rules because they change. They change so much. Even the NASCAR drivers, they'll tell you to this day, hell, I don't know all the rules. They'll say that. So you just do your best. You hope your crew chief, you hope engineers, you hope everybody just kind of reminds you of them. All right, the one that got everybody's attention, and Denny Hamlin kind of made it famous on X, on social media. Denny Hamlin simply made a post that said, laugh out loud, okay. So the new rule that NASCAR has made is, and I'm going to explain it the best I can. Simply, if you are a world-class driver and you have won worldly events, you automatically get to start a NASCAR race. Oh yeah, I said it right, and I said it real slow. So for example, Helio Castroneves, he has won the Indianapolis 500 multiple times. He has also won the Daytona 24 hours multiple times. Helio Castroneves has done something that only, 4 people have ever done in their lives. You know, Helio is very rare. He was on Dancing with the Stars, and he's dancing, and he's in such good shape. And, you know, there's this theory that if you're going to be good at anything, you have to be very serious, very mature. Well, Helio is very serious, very mature. But he's also very talented. He can dance his ass off. So as far as acting serious to win, it's not necessary. Because the only thing that's necessary is when you go through that pit gate, you get serious, or you get serious when it's showtime. One of our greatest pitchers of all time here for the St. Louis Cardinals, Adam Wainwright, Waino, boy, he was fun in the dugout. He's a good guy, but buddy, when he walked out on that mound to pitch, he was a serious man. So, yeah, this is a time in life to remind everybody that Helio Castroneves, he's a badass. And he's won the Indianapolis 500 like 4 times. He's won the Daytona 24 like 3 times. So we're going to talk about why it's okay. I agree with NASCAR on this. And here's why. Because NASCAR's done something that discourages people from coming to race NASCAR. So do you know that to save money, which is good, this is good. If you want to come and run the NASCAR Cup Series, do you know there's no testing? Can you believe that? So if you wanted to be a NASCAR Cup race car driver, and you said, okay, I'm gonna go practice this new next gen car with this new shifter and all this new digital dashboard, and things are different. NASCAR said, oh, by the way, to save money, there's no practice. You cannot practice. Now, we all know my brother Mike is doing something that is against all odds, but, you know, the procedure, the doing it is a bigger deal than, like, getting there. So, I mean, like Helio, you know, right now they got him in an ARCA car down there. You know, they're going all out to get Helio Castroneves up to speed. I'm sure Helio's going to be put in a simulation machine. They'll probably do everything they can to get Helio Castroneves up to speed. Just, if Helio didn't have Trackhouse, so Helio Castroneves is going to enter the Daytona 500 for Trackhouse. So they said, okay, he's a great driver. You watch Helio, run, the SRX series, and I raced against Helio. I raced against him. He's a badass. I mean, he's a good driver. One thing I've learned is drivers are drivers. Just because they're not redneck like us doesn't mean that they can't do it. Here's what I've learned. Never think you're better than anybody because you're the only one to do it. That's like this dirt racing. Yes, I'm a dirt racer, but when Eldora held those dirt races, all those Cup drivers can drive. There's a reason they are some of the best drivers in the world. Me and Schrader talked about this. These guys are good. Just because you're a dirt racer and you think you know all about dirt racing, those guys went to Eldora. And Denny Hamlin, Matt Kenseth, those guys, they got up to speed pretty quick. However, they still would have liked a little bit of practice. So I'm gonna agree with NASCAR on this, okay? And I told you why. Because you are discouraging any driver that is world class coming to NASCAR. If you're a Formula One driver, if you're an IndyCar driver, they all practice. Kyle Larson, he spent a month. Stop and think about Kyle Larson. He spent 1 month practicing for the Indy 500. Then he spent days out there at Phoenix practicing. Kyle Larson spent days practicing at Phoenix to get ready for the Indy 500. Then Kyle Larson spent 1 month at Indy practicing for the Indy 500. And I'm going to leave you with this. Here's another reason that what I think NASCAR is doing is the right thing. And this is what the great Dick Trickle told me, and I'll never forget it. Let me take a drink of my high-octane coffee fueled by Sunoco. We having fun. Hey, Wallace, does Sunoco give you free gasoline? Come on, dummy. Yes. All right. The great Dick Trickle said to me, my boy, these racetracks pay me thousands of dollars to show up because I'm Dick Trickle. So I go to the racetrack and something happens to my car in qualifying and I don't make the race. And half the grandstand's emptied out because they came to watch the great Dick Trickle from Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. 1,000 wins. I said, oh my, I never thought about it that way, Dick. He said, so when they pay you to show up and they advertise you and you bring in a large amount of fans, they're expecting to watch you race. This is called promotion. This is called making the sport bigger and better. You're at a disadvantage already getting there because you'd never been to the racetrack. When Dick taught me that, I thought, oh my, I never thought about that, Dick. You're right. So imagine those people. Now, Dick told me this happened all the way out in Vegas, like way out there. Dick went all the way across the United States. He left Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, drove all the way out there, broke a transmission or a motor. After that, he had it in his little agreement. So Helio Castroneves. Now, there are a lot of arguments saying, well, does Jimmy Johnson get a automatic, does he get to automatically start the Daytona 500? Well, Jimmy Johnson's a 7-time NASCAR champion. He knows how to drive these cars. And as sad as it is to say, I think, Jimmy Johnson is a legend. but he's just not going to draw the crowd that Helio Castroneves would. That's my opinion. Now respond right here. I think with Helio entering a NASCAR Cup race for the first time, that's going to be bigger news than Jimmy. Now that's a cold, hard fact, and I know that's hard to hear. Hard for me to say. It's hard for me to say that Helio Castroneves is going to draw more attention than Jimmy Johnson. However, if Jimmy Johnson went to try to qualify, in Indy, remember when Jimmy did that? That was breaking news. That was a big deal. So I would say that it's okay. And I agree with NASCAR doing this because one thing, they outlawed testing. It is so hard to fathom that you cannot practice. You're not allowed to test or practice. Think about how hard it is for these Xfinity drivers nowadays. In my day, at least you used to do a little practice. I've run, 545? No, I ran 547 Xfinity races, and I ran like 344 Cup races. At least I was able to practice in the Cup Series. All right, everybody, I stated my case. Now you respond right here. Hey, Wallace, is that coffee real? Is it warm? I'm a wimp. I have coffee with hazelnut creamer because I don't like black coffee. Well, then, Wallace, you don't like coffee. Well, then, I don't like coffee. I'm too old to get anymore. Remember, I always win. I always win. You never get me. I love you. Positive mental attitude. Positive mental attitude. PMA. Have a great Saturday, everybody.